Hi, welcome everyone to the inaugural Founder Showcase. My name's Hugh Stevens and I'm one of the co-founders of Galileo Ventures. While we're all live streaming from around the world, I'm coming to you from the lands of Wurundjeri people and I want to acknowledge them as the traditional owners of this land. I'd also like to pay respect to the elders past, present and emerging from the Kulin Nation and extend that respect to other Indigenous peoples present. For those joining us online, please make sure you check out the chat. It's at the bottom of your screen. And say hello to the crowd. We'll be taking questions from each of the startups from those chat conversations, so make sure you put them in at the time. And for any of you who are all too online, please use the hashtag #GVShowcase in your content so we can find your tweets and your LinkedIn posts. Enough from me to introduce you to Galileo. Over to James in Sydney.
Awesome. Hi, Hugh. How are you? Great to be here. As you can see, not quite in the same location. Unfortunately, we would have loved to have also done a live event in Sydney. That was the original plan, but we live in the era of COVID, so that unfortunately didn't happen. But I'm very excited to be live streaming from my house tonight. We've got all our founders standing by, and it's going to be a really great night. I'm going to give you a quick introduction of Galileo. So for those of you that don't know, Galileo, we are Australia's newest seed fund, and we do things a little bit differently. In fact, as you'll see today, we back entrepreneurs really early, what we call emerging founders who are building their first high-growth, high-tech company. We often write a check before most investors would be comfortable, and we're focused on funding and investing in the best emerging founders in the region, not just in the big cities. So please always reach out, doesn't matter where you're from in the region. We also invest more cash. We also spend a lot longer with our startups. Our program goes for 12 months, and we're pretty proud of our unique direct support model, which is how we've been supporting these companies. So everyone you'll see here today has been with us for the last 6 to 8 months, and we're really excited to show them and what they've been up to. Our model means that we do services and coaching over the full 12 months, and we help our founders grow professionally and personally. Probably the best way to think about it is we like to combine the principles of accelerators with some of the support you might see in the top global funds at the later stages and bring that all down to seed stage to help our founders. Now, we've been working with these 8 companies tonight for the last 12 months, and you're going to be able to see them and see how they've changed. And it's been a bit of a journey. We kicked off things in the middle of pandemic. And so what I'm going to do is just show you a few photos from that. So if we could queue up photo 1, that would be awesome. And this is us remote. So this was us starting the first accelerator day, our welcome day with our founders, which was a lot of fun. As you can see, it was in the midst of a lockdown, end of last year. Subsequently, we have embraced a remote model. So we're going to be running our program remote in the foreseeable future. And what that essentially means is we do monthly sprint weeks with all our founders, which are basically like private conferences. We also are very happy now to meet, invest, and support founders fully remote as well. Okay, if I get to photo 2, that would be awesome as well. So this is us in person. We've been doing some in-person events as well. And as you can see, this is our lunches that we ran with our founders, both in Sydney and in Melbourne. We're going to be running more in-person events here and there. So keep a lookout for that as well. And then finally, the third photo, this is us in Byron Bay. And it was an awesome first retreat for us. So this was our inaugural retreat. And as you can see, it was in Byron Bay. It was somewhere I wish I was right now, but unfortunately we're locked out of Sydney, but that's okay. Every year we're going to be running a founder retreat, and this is an exclusive retreat only for the people who invest in. So as we grow, these retreats will get bigger as well, but it's a great way for the founders to meet and talk about a lot of the things that we've been going through. Check out our blog for what went down if you're really interested. And of course, if you want to join next time, please apply. Okay, back to me. So finally, before we kick off, I'm going to ask one of our sponsors to jump on stage, our first sponsor, and that's Brendan from Twilio. Brendan, are you there? And you're also on mute.
I think I'm here, loud and clear. Hey, James, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks so much for sponsoring our first ever showcase night.
Oh, look, you got to see we're Twilio and myself personally are really excited to support this event. James, you and I go back a long way, and I know that you've worked with hundreds and hundreds of founders and know what it takes to take them on that journey. And look, we work with about 500 accelerators around the world, from Y Combinator to Techstars to 500 startups. And this kind of high touch model, I think I think there's really a place for it. And I wish you guys best of luck. But look, enough about you and a little bit more about us. For those that don't know Twilio is a customer engagement platform. If you need to send an SMS, you can do that with Twilio. If you need to make a phone ring, send an email, spin up some video, Twilio can help you with that. So we meet with like thousands of founders around the world every year. And usually what we say to them is, what does your customer engagement strategy look like? How are you finding new customers? How are you nurturing them? How are you winning them? How are you winning them back? How are you upselling them? And look, a lot of founders are very product focused and it's not the first thing, or it doesn't come natural to them. But we provide a suite of tools that help you do that. For the founders that are out there watching tonight, if you think that can be of help to you, just please reach out. I'm easy to find. I'm Brendan at Twilio.com, or you can just go to twiliostartups.com and apply to our program. But look, once again, James, and you and the team at Galileo, congratulations on your kind of feels like your launch tonight for me, and really excited to see the startups that you're about to unveil.
Thanks a lot, Brendan. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. I'm really excited to show you as well. I know this is a little bit ambitious for us to do both live and hybrid at one time, but it's going to be a lot of fun. So for the next section, I'm going to throw back to Hugh at Melbourne. Hugh, are you there?
I hope so. Our second sponsor, unfortunately, is stuck in traffic on the way in Melbourne. Unfortunately, being the state that's not in lockdown, we do actually have traffic. And so to thank our second sponsor, AWS Startups, almost goes without saying. Amazon Web Services, almost all startups in the world, from Zendesk through to ZocDoc through to anything you can imagine, build on AWS. Solid platform, a lot of different services available. And we're really proud to have the AWS Startups team, led by Rohit here in Melbourne, being one of our partners, and they're very big supporters of the Galileo program and of our founders. And so thank you for sponsoring the showcase as well. And that's it from us. So let's meet the startups. Each startup is going to have a short pitch, and then we'll have a Q&A. And the first startup I want to introduce you to is Ally Assist. Now, this team's really been smashing it within a really underserved segment and delivering a really fantastic social impact.
Hi, my name's Nikita. I'm a co-founder of Ally Assist, the leading NDIS platform for therapy assistance. Meet one of our users, Liam, and his mum, Jen. Liam was recently diagnosed with autism and has received some funding from NDIS to reach his goals. It's crucial that Liam gets 25 hours a week of therapy when he's young, or he might fall behind his peers. To help him, he has a speech therapist, but can only afford to see her for 1 to 2 hours per week. So after each session, Liam gets some homework to practice with his mum. However, Jen struggles to find the time, and she's worried that she's not doing it correctly. Ally Assist helps by matching Liam with a therapy assistant, Hannah. She's at university studying to be a speech therapist. She lives close by, she's affordable, and she understands Liam's therapy plan. We take care of all the boring stuff so that Hannah can easily collaborate with Liam's team, and Liam can get 5 to 10 times more therapy from his budget. We've provided more than 30,000 hours of therapy to people like Liam, and we've grown our monthly revenue 6 times in the last year. Soon, we'll be expanding from therapy assistance to an all-in-one solution for every team member from the NDIS and other funding systems. My co-founder Sam is a medical doctor and software engineer, and I have a biomedical science background and 20 years of lived experience as a carer for my sister who has a disability. Our vision is to create a one-stop shop for people with a disability to manage their teams and reach their goals. To learn more about how we are changing lives, contact us today.
And with me now is Nikita and Sam from Ally Assist, so welcome to you both. So the first question I wanted to ask is, you sort of alluded to it in the video, but sort of talk to me about why really you started with therapy assistants and what really comes next.
Sure. So for a person with disability, they generally have 4 people in their healthcare team. And we started with therapy assistants because nobody was actually serving those. And the good thing about therapy assistants is they graduate university to become an allied health professional, which is another team member. If we basically capture these, it means we can almost dictate the flow of the rest of the team because they're kind of the decision makers in the team.
What's also great is that we have started by focusing on NDIS participants, but we've already seen traction and we've gotten a bit of attention from other funding systems such as TAC, Work Cover and Aged Care. So we know that once we have kind of done all we can in the NDIS space, we can also move to those other funding systems as well.
Awesome. And talk to me about how exactly it is that you're actually using technology to help with people with disabilities.
Sure. So basically, for a person with disability and their care team, it's really hard to manage the team, organize all their communications, and for the team members to collaborate. Basically, what happens is a person with disability ends up being a relay point for all these emails, just sending them to everyone. So we fix that by having a central hub where we could put all the communications, and it's really easy to invite a new team member because they can see all the communications that's already occurred and actually get up to speed and join the team really quick and easy.
Awesome. Thanks, Sam. And a question from the chat. Do you see Ally Assist expanding into more health services in the future?
Oh,
Yeah, good
yeah,
luck.
definitely. Like we said, we're starting off with therapy assistants in the allied health space, but I think it's applicable in kind of all contexts. Even for someone without a disability, everyone works within a healthcare system and with a team. And I definitely feel like that is a path we can look into.
Awesome. Very excited to see how that changes over time.
Yeah.
And the last question I wanted to ask you is, and we're going to ask all the startups this question, is how can the audience help? How can the audience help you and Ally Assist really grow?
So we are currently hiring. We have a role for a UX designer, a customer success person, and I feel like we're always hiring. So if there is anyone interested in working for us, always check us out on our website. We're also looking to hire some Grade 2 allied health professionals to help us with quality assurance and safety of our therapy assistants. So that's another thing that if you're an allied health professional and you're kind of looking to change up your career a bit, hit us up. And finally, we are starting conversations for investors in the next couple of months. So if you're an investor also looking to get into this space, you know how to contact us.
Awesome. Thank you, Sam and Nikita. Next, we're off to space and we're talking about the complexity of simulation and the launch of actual spacecraft, which is pretty exciting. So on to space services.
When you only have one shot, getting it right matters. So it probably won't surprise you, but when it comes to building a satellite, it's really important that it works. The surprise is how many currently don't. To date, almost half the miniaturized satellites launched have experienced some sort of systems failure in orbit. Why? Because space is hard, and just like with phones, shrinking down satellites, removing redundancy, and packing them full of technology didn't make them easier to build. Add to this that organizations are going from concept to constellation in years now, not decades. Development costs are being compressed and risks are magnifying, particularly around software development and testing.
Hi, I'm Chris from Space Services Australia. And having been involved in the development and operation of 4 in-orbit missions with UNSW Canberra Space with my co-founder Brenton Smith, we'd experienced some of these challenges firsthand. And we realised that we had to find a way to solve these problems, to make space simpler, safer, and cheaper. So we did.
Our nominal editor and studio products make satellite design like Lego, letting you build complex and realistic simulations of satellites in minutes instead of months. That's just the start though. We're working with organisations like TrustMe and Infinity Avionics to make it simple to plug hardware into simulations so that customers can try before they fly. At Space Services Australia, our aim is to be the go-to design software solution for any and every complex system, from satellites to submarines.
So, if you've got a system to build, components to sell, or a vision for the future, we're here to help keep your systems nominal.
Awesome. Thanks very much, Chris. That was a great pitch video. Are you on the Zoom? Can you hear me?
I can
Fantastic.
hear you. Thanks.
Awesome. Great. Great pitch. Now, do we also have Brenton on the line as well? Brenton, are you there?
We do. I am here.
Fantastic. Thanks, guys. Hey, it's been an absolute pleasure working with you over the last 7 months. Learning a lot about space. Just recently, there was another announcement of a big space funding and a local Australian company as well. As we all know, space is not an easy place to build a business. And so I guess my first question for you is, who is buying your software and what's the initial market? And before you answer that, I'll just remind the audience, please pop a question into the Lemonade chat dialogue. It's just there. You should be able to see it. There is a slight delay from what I'm seeing and what you can see, but regardless, chuck a question. If you've got a better question, I'll surface back to me. So back to you guys. So who is buying your software? What's the initial market for you?
Yeah, well, so I mean, you mentioned that space isn't historically the easiest sector to get into. I mean, things are changing. Launches are cheaper. We've got better sensors, and there's that shift to constellations, which means there's actually never been a better time to build a space business. And so what we've been noticing is we've really got two market segments. One, we've got the commercial sector. So, companies who are looking to build spacecraft, get into that new sector, and they're either facing challenges with building capability demonstrators or scaling up their systems. And then you've got the defense organizations who are also grappling with the challenges of how the industry is changing, what that means for them. And so what our software does really for both of these segments is gives them the agility that they need to succeed without sacrificing quality.
Awesome. Thanks very much, Chris. That's really interesting to know. Now, the next question I'm going to ask you is, what are people currently doing to get the insights you're currently generating? So why isn't this working right now?
Mm-hmm.
So there's plenty of tools out there right now that really help you design orbits. And these range from free tools all the way up to enterprise offerings that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars per year per license. What really differentiates us is that our tool helps you design satellites. And a really good example of that is a customer of ours who used our tool to spec out their power system requirements, which they then sent on to the manufacturer with confidence that those requirements would be fit for purpose once their satellite's in space.
Awesome. Okay, that's really interesting to know. I'm going to switch now to an audience question, which is, who is your main competitor in this space?
Look, I mean, from our perspective, our main competitor, we like to shoot for the moon. So it's AGI's SDK. That's the go-to golden standard at the moment for space mission design. Our goal, we think that there's a niche that's not being addressed by that tool.
When did that tool get released for the first time? Just so we get a sense of.
It's like 1970s. It's a fantastic tool that does some things very well. But there's definitely scope for, technology has changed. The cloud didn't exist back then. And one of the unique factors for our tool is that, it's cloud native, so that teams can work anywhere, design spacecraft anywhere, and hook up their hardware through the web.
Okay, cool. I've got one more question to go, and then we'll ask how the audience could help. Why are you and Brenton the best people to be doing this?
Yeah. So, I mean, Brenton and I have been doing simulations for forever now. I've built rocket simulations for Google Enterprise teams, plasma simulation tools on supercomputers, and GPU accelerated bits of software. Brenton is probably Australia's leading expert for satellite formation flying. In fact, he's actually the lead for UNSW Canberra's Space M2 mission, which is in orbit at the moment and is about to do its separation. So he's going to be busy doing that soon. And he's built multiple orbit propagators. So we really know some of the challenges and have experienced the challenges. And we know what it takes to actually build a space mission that works. And we believe that Australia not only has the opportunity to be building these satellites, but to be leaders in the world about building pragmatic space solutions that actually solve real people's problems. And our mission at Space Services Australia is to help make that happen.
Great. Sounds like you guys have been busy then with a few in-orbit missions. Okay, last question from me then is, how can the audience help you today?
Yep. So, I mean, we're going to be opening an investment round at the end half of this year to both scale up our team and also our customer sales, with particular eye towards the US. And so we're also always looking for people with a mix of space domain experience and, surprisingly enough, game development heritage. And so if that sounds like you, then please reach out. Let's have a chat.
Cool. Thanks very much, Chris. There's also a couple more questions that just come in last minute, but I'll let you add to them after this on Lemonade. Okay. You can jump in there.
Always happy to answer questions.
Great. Okay. Thank you, Chris. Next up, we're going to switch to the next pitch. Is a company that's helping change a very old and conservative industry with cutting edge software. It's a really tough space to play in, but it's a big opportunity, and we think this is the team to do it. Please welcome Vericon.
On a typical construction site, critical cost information is collected on paper-based forms or Excel spreadsheets. It can take up to 6 weeks for this information to get back to head office, and even then, it's not easy to extract useful insights. This problem is costing the construction industry billions of dollars every year. According to Deloitte and Boston Consulting Group, construction is among the worst performing industries. 15% of construction costs are due to inefficiencies. With profit margins below 5%, solving this problem is a burning issue for the industry. During our extensive industry research, we uncovered on-site cost management as the biggest challenge faced by construction contractors, with no adequate solution available in the marketplace. I experienced this problem firsthand over my 10 years working as a construction project manager. This is what led me to found Vericon. Vericon connects cost information from the job site back to the office. What used to take 6 weeks now can be done in real time. On site, we save time and reduce errors. In the office, we provide data visualization and insights that were previously unavailable. Today, Vericon is hosting over $120 million worth of construction projects and growing rapidly. We're now working with construction contractors of all sizes, including some of Australia's leading civil contractors, with a combined revenue of more than $6 billion. We're the right team to fix this problem. Between us, we have a deep understanding of construction project delivery, construction technology, product development, and marketing strategy. Our vision is to eliminate the cost information gap between the job site and the office, so construction contractors can focus on delivering their projects.
And with me here is James and Offa from Vericon. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So the first question I guess I wanted to ask you is, a lot of the audience obviously knows companies like Aconex, big Australian company, very, very successful. Why is it that Vericon's different?
Yeah, look, I think first we need to acknowledge Aconex for the extent of the change that it made to the industry and the mindset that it created. I think in terms of differentiation, we probably have, there's many variables to it. I'll briefly touch on 2 of them. First, I think, Aconex serves the top end of the market. Effectively, if you run a $500 million project, you're using Aconex and you probably have 15 people operating Aconex. If you're a $10 million contractor, there's no way in hell that you're using Aconex, and you will not be using it. So effectively, that creates this phenomena where the top end of the market is well served in terms of tech solutions, and the bottom end of the market, which is probably 70% of the market, is underserved, and that's where Vericon plays. The second aspect of it is many of these companies, they're a generalized solution. So effectively, they solve a wide range of these problems. we took a very different approach to this. We spent about 12 months researching the industry, and we talked to probably more than 50 different contractors. And effectively, we got to an understanding that the key and major pain point of these contractors is cost management. Once we realized that, we set out to basically establish the best platform out there to revolutionize cost management practices. So we serve the underserved part of the market, and we're a very focused cost management solution.
Awesome. And I've got a question from the audience as well for you, and that's really, what's the revenue model? That one's hopefully a pretty quick one. But how many projects do you see are sort of the second and third and fourth project from the same particular construction firm?
Yeah, so the revenue model is effectively, it's very native to the industry. It's very similar to the one that Aconex had, which is percentage of project value. So contractors really kind of, I guess, relate to that, and they understand how that works from that perspective. And what was the second part of the question? Sorry?
How many projects are the second or third from the same firm? So what's that repeat customer rate?
So effectively, if you look at, so at the moment, we have 8 different contractors that have signed up to a pilot project. 2 of them have over $500 million in revenue. So effectively, that's hundreds of projects. The other 6 are probably anywhere between $10 to $200 million in revenue. So that's tens, if not hundreds, of other projects as well. So it all depends on how quickly can we convert these into paying clients.
Awesome. And James, maybe, how do you see the civil construction industry changing over time? And why is now, I guess, the right time for Varicon?
Sure. So anyone that knows the construction industry is aware that it's very, very far behind in terms of technology adoption. But we're starting to see this shift. I've been in the construction industry for over a decade now, and what we're seeing is the leaders in this space are actively out there looking for technology solutions because the problem is so big and costing them so much. So I'll give you an example of this. Our first customer, Delta Group, when we first spoke with them, they shared with us that this problem was costing them millions of dollars every year, the exact problem that we're solving. And at that point, they'd spent 2 years searching through the market actively for a solution that didn't exist at the time. And it was off the back of that they actually funded us to build Varicon. So this isn't just Delta Group. Every single customer that we're bringing on board is saying that they have exactly the same problem that Delta have.
Awesome. And how really has the market, I guess, as a whole responded to you launching it? I guess, it's obviously a very conservative industry. Sales are quite difficult. Like, how do you feel like that response has been from those kinds of customers?
Yeah, so look, to call the construction industry conservative would probably be a huge understatement. Sales is difficult. It's hard to get some sort of engagement with them. Look, to be perfectly honest, since we've launched our product probably 6 months ago, we've had 8 pilot projects sign up to our platform. My experience with Aconex and James's experience in the industry has probably prepared us for it. We were ready for it. We knew that this was going to happen. We knew that the sales cycle is probably anywhere between 4 to 6 months, and we were really ready for it. I think any pilot project that we bring on board, any kind of new client, makes the engagement with the next one that much easier for us because it builds the credibility that we need. And the fact that we have such a diverse and rich industry experience helps a lot as well.
Awesome. And to ask you the last question, how can the audience help? How can we help Varicon?
Sure. So I'd say there are 2 key areas that you might be able to help us. The first is the construction industry is very much about relationships. So one of the biggest challenges that we have is actually getting our foot in the door in the first place. So if you know anyone in construction who you think might benefit from our solution, then we would really appreciate those connections. And the second part is we're preparing to raise funds again. So if you're excited by the construction technology space, then we'd love to have a chat.
Awesome. Thanks to you both. And next, we've got a team that certainly people on the live stream are hopefully a little bit familiar with, Lemonade Social.
Hi, I'm Ikshita, Chief Community Officer at Lemonade, a platform to create happiness. But before I tell you about Lemonade and how it creates happiness, my first question is, what makes us happy? People at Harvard conducted the longest study to answer just that. Any guesses on what that might be? I'll give you a hint. It's neither money nor power. And as cliche as it may sound, it's our family, friends, and community what makes us happy. And these are not the number of matches on Tinder or the number of followers on Instagram. So now that we know what makes us happy, I'd love to introduce you to the team that's building Lemonade. 5 of us came together from early stage hypergrowth startups such as Uber, Amazon, Glovo, along with experience in hospitality and event management. And it all started in a living room in Barcelona, the first Lemonade stand. We created an app for offline events. For our very first event, we hosted a street musician in our living room for an intimate music concert. A network of 35 friends bored of going to bars bought a 10-euro ticket to meet new like-minded people and enjoy good music. The musician went home with 350 euros for a 45-minute gig, as opposed to earning 40 euros a day. Within 3 months, 50 Lemonade stands were hosting over 200 musicians and chefs just through word of mouth alone. And then COVID happened, when life gives you lemons indeed. Creators lost their livelihood, small brands and retail businesses lost their customers, and you and me were stuck at home not knowing how to be social. Existing platforms are focused on solving for just one part of a problem. One platform to buy tickets, another platform to buy products, and nowhere to meet and socialize. As a result, creators are spending so much more time on operations rather than creating happiness. Solution, Lemonade, of course. One place where you can buy tickets, buy products, watch content, and find your tribe. Within 1 month, we pivoted our offline events platform to go virtual, where creators can create, collaborate, and celebrate their communities. For example, this virtual beer festival, where 25 breweries and 10 creators together hosted food, beer tasting, and comedy shows. And the breweries were able to sell and deliver $10,000 worth of beers straight to your door. And you could hang out at beer tastings with people who love craft beer while enjoying live experiences. In the last 18 months, Lemonade has empowered 1,800 creators in partnership with 45 brands and generated an upward of $350,000 in revenue. All of this with zero marketing dollars. We also have partnered with big brands like Bacardi, who sponsored over 30 creators and 12 pop-up shops to host a 3-day hybrid festival that brought together 9,000 people. And another example is a partnership we did with the skateboarding community in India on World Go Skateboarding Day. Experiences included workshops on designing your own skateboards, sneakers, rap battles, and even pop-up shops that featured local artists, which brought over 1,500 people to celebrate together virtually. Bringing our community not just credibility, but also monetary support and brand sponsorships, a huge portion of which going towards supporting 3 skate parks that provide a safe space for at-risk youth in India. From being able to cover rent, to helping a craft brewery cover a loan installment, to giving people a way to make new friends and add experiences. Our community fuels our passion. So how do we make this sustainable to ensure Lemonade generates happiness for the next 100+ years? We do this with a tiered subscription model and transaction fees, which means we make money if creators make money and you discover your tribe. The market opportunity is huge. Today, 50 million people identify themselves as creators. And we aim to empower 1% of those creators by the end of 2022, and over 10% within 5 years. But we can't do this alone. So please come join us in supporting local creators and businesses. If you know creators and brands, connect us. And most importantly, tell your friends to tell their friends to tell their friends that it's time to make lemonade. Together, we can fulfill our vision of enabling creators to create happiness.
Awesome. Thank you very much for that pitch, Lemonade. The audience, you are on Lemonade right now. So if you're liking what you're seeing, please submit a question. Just a reminder too, if you would like to tweet, you could tweet us. It's just at Galileo VC, or use the hashtag GV Showcase on any of the social networks, and we will try and pick them up. So, KC, welcome. Are you there? Maybe not.
My bad. I was on mute. How's it going?
Oh, there you go. That's all right. This is Zoom. This is the COVID days, so that's fine. Welcome. Oz, are you there?
Yes, sir. Hello, James.
Hi, guys. Now, this is truly a global interview happening. We've got people in Melbourne. I'm in Sydney. Oz, where are you?
I'm in Melbourne itself.
Great. And KC, where are you?
I'm currently in India, in New Delhi.
Fantastic. Well, welcome all. First question off the back is, we're on Lemonade right now. What makes you different to Zoom, Hopin, and the million other virtual event platforms that have all cropped up during COVID?
I'll preface this by saying that all those platforms are amazing, but they're built for a very specific purpose. So for example, we're on Zoom right now, but I wouldn't imagine hanging out over a craft beer festival on Zoom with you. Like it would not be the medium that we choose for this potentially. They're meant for more like business and corporate platforms or experiences, and we're meant for more social and cultural stuff. But if you had to like break it down, I guess like 3 points sum it up. So at Lemonade, everyone is a creator. So whether you're a guest joining an event or you're a creator creating the event for all the guests, anyone can create their own mini hangouts and socialize, host watch parties while you're inside an event. So this helps creators as well drive a lot of engagement with the help of their community. And then the collaboration side as well is something that differentiates us, where you can host with as many co-hosts as you want and split revenue in whatever percentage split you want, and share your users, your community with other creators alongside. And then I guess like the market focus. So like if we talk purely in terms of sales or the business model, let's say Lemonade and Hopin would pitch to the same company for to use the platform, but we would go more with HR that wants to do employee happiness and engagement experiences with wine tasting and music for their employees. And Hopin would go more for like the sales marketing professionals that want to do trade shows or boring conferences, which we categorically stay away from.
Gotcha. No boring conferences. Oz, run me through the inspiration. Why did you start and how did this all happen for you?
Sure. I'll be very honest about all of this. So it all started a few years back when me and Casey used to work together at a tech company in China. And I remember us being overly frustrated about not being able to make friends or real genuine connections, and discussing building something that helps in doing so. Casey, being the philosopher that he is, he actually quoted the Harvard study in the pitch. And while he was doing so, all I was thinking about was, hey man, I just want friends at this point, so let's just do this. And we did, and here we are. And at the same time, we are creators by heart and by profession. And we knew a lot of creators and we wanted to support them, and we saw them getting exploited by a lot of different places. And we wanted to build that platform to just empower them and create whatever they wanted to.
That's an awesome mission. And I'm going to switch to an audience question on that note, which is how do you plan to get creators on board? So I remember on the pitch, you said you've had over 1,800 creators so far. How do you get more of them?
Whoever asked that question, your help. If you know creators, refer us, because that's pretty much how Lemonade is running. So far, creators host events, they invite their community. A lot of their community happen to be creators. They see the differential offering that Lemonade has. So word of mouth has kind of kept our humble growth going. But in terms of scale, that's why we're bringing in brands that bring in a much bigger amount of revenue. And we want to be a sustainable platform. So it means not sponsoring A-listers to create and bring an audience that will disappear once they stop creating, but more drive real value. And I feel driving real value and creating real positive impact is the biggest growth driver to onboard creators en masse, because once they see value, they're going to talk about it. and social media being the attention economy it is, will generate enough attention to onboard creators.
Gotcha. Okay, good answer. Another question from the audience. What are some of the most interesting or memorable things that have happened so far on Lemonade?
The virtual puppy adoption drive.
What was that one? Sorry, guys? The
virtual puppy adoption drive that happened.
Puppy adoption. Gotcha. Amazing.
Yeah. This was during COVID times. Yes.
Did you adopt a puppy?
I could not sitting in Melbourne, but it happened in India, and I believe quite a lot of people did. Casey, your answer, or Chris?
Yeah, what's your answer, Casey?
For me, I think every other week happens to be like something memorable happens. Like last week, the skateboarding thing happened literally last week, and we had the opportunity to share it with you guys. And stuff like that essentially happens every couple of weeks at Lemonade, where we hear a very heartwarming story of how a creator could use the platform to drive real value, or how could a small brand that has to compete with these big brands with enterprise funding and sponsorships are able to differentiate themselves and stand out with competition. And we've done so much stuff in partnership with NGOs for the whole Black Lives Matter movement, for LGBTQ, for gender rights, women rights, where we bring creators and NGOs together to collaborate and do fundraising for a very specific focus in the social impact space. So for me, it's very hard to just name one. Every day is an inspiration in some way.
Sounds pretty cool. Sounds like there's some amazing stuff going on. Okay, so there are a few more questions coming in, but you're going to stick around and be in the lounge. Is that right after this, Casey?
Oh, absolutely. It's shameless plug-in, guys. There's a lounge where we can host watch parties and create rooms. So would love to hang out and answer more questions.
Cool.
And so just hear from you guys.
So after all the pitches, we'll give you some instructions on that. But before that, the last question from me, how can the audience help you tonight?
Well, we'll take whatever we can get, but specifically, you're already here. So all the bugs you found, anything that you don't like, we're building this for you. So we want this to create magic for you. Anything that you can find to make the platform better, please reach out. We're also a growing team desperately looking for a web developer that will potentially fix a lot of things that you found. So if you are a great web developer, please reach out. Introductions to creators and brands. And at the risk of sounding redundant, we're also preparing for our next capital raise in the next 2 months. So any introductions there would also be very helpful.
Fantastic. And I know that is progressing very well too. So I'm excited to see how that goes for everyone and how you grow your creator community base. Thanks very much, Casey. Thank you, Ars. Next up is a company changing how we share and manage documents that caught our attention because of their explosive growth. It gives me great pleasure. Please welcome Sizzle.
Sizzle helps teams create and share mission-critical documents more safely and effectively. More than 11,000 professionals have signed up to share documents from more than 130 countries around the world, all acquired by word of mouth. There is an unprecedented amount of sensitive information being shared online. This is because there is currently no cross-platform solution, more enterprise companies are transitioning to remote work, large, complex files are too big to email, and confidential information is being shared insecurely. Teams need a reliable solution to share sensitive documents with confidence. Our platform has helped a diverse range of teams work remotely when their existing digital processes failed overnight during the COVID-19 pandemic. Sizzle helps teams create and share secure documents and gives viewers a streamlined experience unlike traditional file sharing tools. Sizzle is the only document platform designed to make secure sharing simple. Users can upload popular file formats quickly and accurately. Sizzle converts uploaded files into an editable online document that can be customized and shared securely. Sizzle provides real-time document viewer insights, audit trails, and helps users discover page-by-page engagement trends in their content. Sizzle has a basic free tier for anyone and a pro version for teams that enables additional features. Over 11,000 people already trust Sizzle to share information from a diverse range of industries, including education, finance, life sciences, and technology. This growth has been from word of mouth from users that love the platform. As a design and technology professional, I've worked with large enterprise companies and small bootstrap startups in many industries and have seen the common mistakes made every day when confidential documents are shared insecurely without people even realizing. Our vision is to improve the lives of people working with digital documents every day with the fastest and most accessible document toolkit built for remote work. Join us as we pioneer document workflows in over 130 countries and in industries that are making a difference to the health and future of our planet.
Awesome. And with me is Jeremy from Sizzle. Welcome, Jeremy.
Thank you so much.
So talk to me a little bit about how you kind of discovered the world of this kind of secure document sharing. How did you kind of get there?
So I started at the Daily Mail Australia as a designer working in the sales team, and after that as a technology consultant with a large cloud engineering firm. And what I saw in both teams, like large and small, bootstrapped and not, is that these tools just don't exist. There's no tools for these sales teams to track the proposals they're sending to customers, and they were just flying blind when they're sending about 90% of their documents out to new businesses. So Sizzle started as a document sharing tool for sales and marketing mainly, but when COVID hit, we really saw a huge shift in the types of companies that were signing up to share documents, and we started to see companies from science and education and finance start to sign up, and with use cases we'd never imagined. And so, we're lucky to have an enthusiastic user base that were more than happy to talk to us about what information they're sharing. And what we found is that at the executive level, there's a secure document sharing problem bigger than we ever thought existed when we started. And so we're just now kind of drilling down into what that means through the accelerator and since January.
Awesome. And what really are some of those situations that you've seen with customers so far? I know you've got some fairly unique ones, particularly over the last year and a half or so, where those existing document sharing solutions just weren't right.
Yeah, well, there's two super interesting ones. The first one is with COVAX in the US. So they're a vaccine company in America. And previously, they were sending out drug trial results to their medical advisory boards with no tracking and no passwords, and to share that information with them about their drugs. But they were sending this attached to PDFs and attached to emails, and they kind of stepped back and were like, we need a solution to fix this. And so we actually interviewed them after they signed up to use our platform without us talking to them. And what we found is that they needed something to protect the public from seeing potentially concerning information in drug trial results, and couldn't be more pertinent than at the moment. And a second one, which is super interesting, is Save the Water in the US, which is a really large charity over there. Before, they were sharing education material with their volunteers just in email. Now they use Sizzle to track how much of that content their volunteers are engaged with when they're reading through those training manuals all around the United States.
Awesome. Thanks, Jeremy. And what are some of the growth tips that you've kind of discovered along the way? I know that there's one that you've picked up from one of our mentors that's pretty unique, but talk about sort of, I guess, how you've discovered that organic growth that you've had so far.
Yeah, I guess. So for early on, like engaging with small communities like Facebook groups and subreddits, Discords and Slack groups that we were put in touch with through other people, but just random professional networking groups was really helpful for us for a couple of reasons. And the first was that we're able to get just an untapped source of feedback on our product from people that genuinely wanted to give it to us. And second, those early forum posts we did still provide some of the biggest traffic sources to our website today. So that was the first one. The second one is a trick we learned through the Galileo accelerator. One of the sales coaches showed us when we were building our sales outreach lists, was that you can do reverse spreadsheet searches into Google to find just enormous contact lists of people you could never imagine to find on some of the other sales databases. And that can be applied to a whole range of use cases. So super interesting.
And finally, I guess, how can the audience help? So how can we help Sizzle in your next phase of your journey?
Yeah, well, Sizzle is completely free to use. So it's got a free option. It's going to be free forever. So if you know someone that works with documents, runs a small business, is a freelancer, please feel free to refer it. Take it for a test drive yourself. And we do have an early bird offer that's available on the Lemonade pop-up store. There's more details about that on the stream, but feel free to check that out as well.
And a quick question from the audience here. What is it that prevents, the things of Dropbox or Box or things like that being able to extend themselves into this space?
Yeah, I guess, a few months ago we saw Dropbox acquire DocSend for their slide analytics. And I guess what we've seen and in the conversations we've had with our enterprise customers is that a lot of them are moving away from Dropbox and Google Drive for a more hyper-specialized solution for the use case that they need it for. Pharmaceutical companies and biotechnology companies especially just they do not want to use a big tool where they know that there's ways that they might accidentally mess it up if they reconfigure a link the wrong way and share a potentially damaging document. So they're looking for a really purpose-built, streamlined solution.
Awesome. Thanks, Jeremy. And last question, of course, how can the audience help? Oh, we just asked that question. Oh my God.
You can sign up again.
Had to do it at some point. This is the sequencing problem. Next up, we're moving on to Riveted. And they're working really hard to improve literacy rates, both in Australia and overseas. And we're really impressed to have Mina and Caroline with us remotely and really impressed with their journey so far. So over to Riveted.
When my son started school, he'd come home with some really boring books to read. He didn't know, and I didn't know, how to find books he'd really love. A child that doesn't enjoy reading is 11 times more likely to read below their age level.
Reading enjoyment is one of the most important factors for a child's educational success.
I like reading, but I'm not as good as I want to be.
74% of children say they would read more if they could find more books they enjoy.
But children just don't have the skills to actually find those books. So we solved this problem with Huey the BookBot. Now it's easy for children to find books that match their interests and reading ability. Let me tell you about the team. I'm Mina. I've been working as a UX lead for years on multi-million-dollar machine learning projects. I've co-authored a paper published by CSIRO on trustworthy machine learning systems. I also designed for children. I met my co-founder Caroline at the ABC. We've worked with some amazing organisations. And between us, we've created some of Australia's most popular children's apps. Huey has already recommended over 50,000 books. And during our school pilot, we saw student borrowing increase by an incredible 42%.
It was very easy to use, a very easy way to find books that you like to read.
We have a system that leverages advances in machine learning.
Would you like to find a book?
A proprietary data set focused on the style and tone of a book, and an engaging interface that a child can use.
It asks you questions about the books and get the book you want.
Right now, literacy rates are dropping, but kids still want to enjoy stories. And reading enjoyment is more important than socioeconomic status for a child's educational success. We want to let every child in the world find a book they'll love. If you know a school, a library or a family that wants to improve literacy for their kids, join us at hellohuey.com.
Fantastic pitch. Thank you so much for that. That was Riveted, which is, as you can see, soon to be rebranded to Huey the BookBot. On the call with me right now is Mina and Caroline. Mina, welcome. Are you there?
Hi, yes, I'm here.
Thank you. And Caroline, are you there too?
Hey, James. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Caroline. Hey, guys, that was a great pitch. I love the video. Raising reading literacy is a huge challenge. It's not an easy feat. Tell me why your approach is better than just a parent or a teacher giving a book to a kid.
Look, I should say it is really awesome when parents and teachers recommend books to kids. We don't want them to stop doing that. But we know that when kids describe their favourite books, they're usually books that they found themselves. So we really want kids to be in charge of their own book choices. And Huey lets them do that. And it's very easy for them to do that. We also, we're not just looking at your typical genre to recommend a book. We've got a system that really looks at the style and tone of a book. We're calling it a book hue, and that in conjunction with age and reading ability means that we feel like we're really honing in on the qualities that a child really loves. And then finally, Huey is perceived by kids as judgment-free. So a book that we've had examples of books that have been recommended by teachers and a kid has rejected them, and Huey has recommended the same book and they've been willing to go and get that book. It's really interesting behaviour. They know it's not a person, but it's friendly. And I think that kind of judgment-free recommender, that aspect of things is why we saw such a massive increase in book borrowing. It's 42% in the schools that we've been in.
Yeah, that's an awesome number. to lead with. It's just the impact that can have on a child's literacy is huge. So a follow-up question, and this is one from the audience. Where is the location of Huey? Is it in libraries? Is there an iPad or an iPhone that I can use?
That's a great question. So anyone can access Huey. You just go to hellohuey.com and click Families Find a Book Fast, and you can find a book. You can do it now on your mobiles if you want to. We also have these kiosks that you see in the video that are in schools and libraries. So yeah, that's the way you can access it.
Great. So if you're a teacher or a librarian, reach out to the team. They'll also be in the virtual lounge after this to have a chat, just FYI. Okay, second question. Tell me a bit about how you're balancing the two audiences here, libraries, schools, as well as parents, and how do they work together?
So we have always seen that Huey can be a bridge between families, schools and libraries. The kids are going to all those places, and we really we talk about extending the reading experience beyond the library bag. So because you can access Huey on any device, a child can be at home, they can be looking for books in their school library or their public library, and they can pick them up later, which is pretty relevant right now for Sydney. All the libraries are closed. We're really looking at our family experience at the moment. And so our next version of Huey is really focused on developing really great reading habits and developing vocabulary as well, using a combination of digital and print rewards and experiences to not just have the child track their reading journey, but have the parents, teachers and librarians be across that as well, so that they can support each other.
Gotcha. Okay. Next question from the audience is, how do you get your proprietary tone information generated? And I might give this tricky question to Caroline. Sorry, Caroline.
It's okay. Mina actually is the expert on this because she designed the system. So I'm going to throw back to Mina.
This is true.
That is... God, I need to give a short answer to this. We basically created a training data set that looked at lots of different characteristics. So we particularly looked at writing style and illustration style. So that took a while developing that. We've then thrown that at a machine learning algorithm, and it's created these clusters. We've actually got these very specific, like a finite set of hues that we believe any book can fit into, not just children's books. And we're using that to automatically label our books. We've actually just done some testing, and we've actually with one of the other startups that'll be at the Relevance, and we've been able to label thousands and thousands of books automatically with these hues.
Fantastic. And tell me why you're the right team to be solving this problem.
Well, we think we're a really unique mix. You heard in the video, Caroline and I, we met at the ABC. We've developed some of Australia's most popular children's apps. We've also got a lot of expertise in data and machine learning. I published a paper on that very topic last year. Cyro published that. Our tech lead, Ben, who we hired a couple of months ago, he's an expert at creating scalable and secure systems. So that combination, I think, is really rare in a team, and I think we've really got what it takes to build something really special and scalable.
Fantastic. Thank you, Mina. And last question, how can the audience help tonight?
So we've got schools and libraries reaching out to us every day, which is really exciting. But if you know any schools and libraries who embrace innovation and change, we'd love to hear from them. We're sort of starting up a new rollout that's getting on board in term 4. And then in the start of 2022, they'll be launching. So we'd love to see more schools and libraries. We're also raising our second round of investment now. So yeah, we're scaling our team, and we're really excited to be rolling out to schools and libraries, and also to be working on our premium subscription offering.
Thanks, Caroline. Great. Thank you both, Caroline and Mina, for that. We're now going to go to the next company. For Mina and Caroline on the call, when we first invested, we said that We wish this product was available when we were kids, Hugh and I. For the next company coming on the call, this is a product that I actually use myself right now, and is changing consumer behavior in Australia. We're very proud to be backing this company. Please welcome Tixel.
Hi, I'm Zach, CEO and co-founder of Tixel, and we are already the leading fan-to-fan ticket marketplace in Australia, and now growing in Europe and the US. And our mission is to make sure that every seat is filled with a happy fan. Let's be honest, in the past, the process of reselling tickets or getting a ticket to a sold-out show has sucked. Too many fans have been ripped off or fallen victim to fraud. There are thousands of fake sellers on social media every day, and scalpers sell tickets for 5 times face value on other ticket marketplaces. So we thought to ourselves, why is the process of one fan selling a ticket to another fan so bloody hard, and in many cases dodgy and unfair? And so, Tixel was born as a marketplace for honest tickets. We built tech that allows sellers to list a ticket in a few seconds, validates it, and regulates the ticket price to make sure that the buyer is never ripped off. Over 500,000 fans use Tixel today with 0 fake tickets and 0 price gouging. But what really sets us apart is that we've developed unique technology for the people that work on the event side, like venues, promoters, or the artists themselves. Working with Tixel gives them unique visibility into data and helps them optimize ticket sales by identifying the perfect price point. Event organisers love us, and we partner with some of the most incredible events around the world, like the iconic Corner Hotel in Melbourne, Beyond the Valley, Boardmasters in the UK, and famous Dutch festival Dek Mantel. We have exclusive integrations with primary ticketing sellers, and these partnerships help us grow rapidly in new regions. After the challenges of last year, there is a massive pent-up demand for live experiences. We have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to slingshot into a new era of live events. Our team is excited to carve out a new normal for fans and for event organisers. So, check out Tixel.com, sign up, buy safe, sell easy.
And with me now is Zach from Tixel. Welcome.
Thank you, Hugh.
So, of course, everyone's going to be worried. What the hell happened with COVID? Obviously, the event industry has been smashed. How's Tixel fared? And what are you seeing sort of come through now that we're sort of starting to get back to whatever normal looks like?
Yeah, the past 18 months has definitely been tough on the event industry. But I think from our perspective, we actually feel really fortunate for a couple of reasons. Number one, I mean, we got the opportunity to actually take a step back and really focus on the product and make it a lot better. But more so, the conditions in the market are actually really, really good for Tixel. So we're seeing a huge pent-up demand for live experiences. People want to get out, people want to party, people want to congregate, and so there's this huge, there's a huge demand. There's lower capacity shows, there's postponements, there's event clashes, and Tixel was born on flexibility, and so flexibility now is really needed more than ever. And so we're seeing growth, even over the last couple of months, we're seeing growth in Australia and New Zealand compared to even before COVID. And also in the US and the UK, we're growing. They're coming back a lot faster and stronger. So, I mean, overall, the industry is really set to thrive as things start to resurface, and it's almost like a slingshot where there's been some pullback, but things are going to go off when events do resurface.
Really exciting.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of negative press about a lot of the market, Viagogo, people like that. How are you different? How's the market really responded to your offering?
Yeah, there are definitely some marketplaces out there that are quite unethical and a bit deceitful. I guess where we differ. So we're basically the opposite. We look after fans. We play nice with event organisers. We take more of an ethical approach to ticket resale. So we've built technology that blocks fake tickets. So we make sure that every ticket that's on Tixel is a real ticket, and we've never had a fake on the platform. We also built technology to cap resale prices to make sure that anybody that lists the ticket can only list it for 10% above face value, so there's no scalping. And we verify all buyers and sellers. We make it really easy and safe for people to buy and sell tickets. And yeah, we play nice with event organisers and artists and the people that actually put on the show as well.
So talk to me a bit more about how you actually collaborate with event organisers. So that's probably a really good segue. And a lot of secondary marketplaces, even things like Gumtree or places like that, they don't really have any relationship with event organizers. It's just literally peer-to-peer. So how, I guess, have you sort of mixed in, that peer-to-peer part that we all sort of know and is logical, but then how have you mixed in that event organizer offering, and what does that really mean for you?
Good question. So we typically see with the events that we partner with, up to 30% of tickets change hands. So that's basically 1 in 3 fans of the event organizer has no idea. They don't know who they are. They don't know who's walking through the door of their event. So what we do is we connect event organizers with that missing data set, and we help them connect with a new audience. We also help them understand the real demand for their event. We help them with pricing. We help them gauge demand so that they can better price and sell more tickets for future events. So we really give them an edge. And that's really unique. No one else is doing that. No one else in the market offers that to event organizers and the people that are putting on the events. And that's why they love us. That's why they like to work with us. That's why they recommend their fans use Tixel. And that's been really good for our growth as well.
Great. And last question, how can the audience help? How can we help you?
Just support the event industry, support live events, buy tickets. If you can't go, hopefully you know where you can sell them. But yeah, just buy tickets to events, local events, any events, and support the industry as things resurface.
Great. Thank you, Zach. And our last startup for the night is a team who's doing really fascinating work with quite a unique data set. They're using vectors and, of course, a lot of data science. And this is actually real data science, and that's Relevance AI.
At Relevance AI, we are equipping future-thinking businesses for the era of qualitative data. More than 80% of data is qualitative, such as text, images, audio, videos, and more. However, none of these businesses are heavily utilizing this qualitative data, and they mostly go unstructured and uncategorized in cold storage such as S3.
At Relevance AI, we're building a qualitative cloud, which enables businesses to do previously impossible things with their qualitative data. And now they can make decisions based on the whole picture and build better AI-powered features and functionalities into their products.
We do this through a powerful machine learning technology called vectors. Vectors are behind many of the products we use every day. For example, Google actually uses text vectors to build one of the most powerful search in the world. Spotify uses audio vectors to build the most personalized playlist that we know of. All these companies utilize their massive amounts of qualitative data through vectors.
Usually it takes a large data science team, software engineers, DevOps, over a year of trial and error to be able to build and deploy a vector engine at scale. With Relevance AI, you can do that in less than a week with better security, reliability, monitoring, and all the typical features you'd expect from a system working at scale. We can power game-changing analysis and functionality straight out of the box with no training and no prior data expertise. We're already working with customers from startup to enterprise, and we've got some exciting news to announce about that soon.
To power all this, we are building the cutting-edge vector engine called VecDB. We are super passionate about this problem, and we're super passionate to bring vectors and machine learning to all the companies in the world. If you are also excited about this and want to work with us, do reach out so that we can push the innovation further in machine learning together.
Our vision is to be able to power every single business in the world to process and analyze the qualitative data. And we're going to be actively scaling up the team to be able to help unlock that mission. We're looking for great data scientists, software engineers, DevOps, operations, sales, and more to help us drive that vision. If you're interested in a career working with us, please come check us out at careers.relevance.ai. We'd love to have a chat with you and tell you more about what we're working on.
Fantastic pitch. Thanks so much, Dan and Jackie, for that pitch. You are lucky last of our founders tonight. Welcome, Dan. Are you on the call?
Yes, I am. Hi, James.
Yes.
Welcome, Jackie, as well. I can see you there too. Hey, guys, that's a really interesting presentation. And I know you guys are doing some really interesting work. But I think one of the first questions people often say is there's a lot of stuff with AI in it now. Everyone loves to put AI in their name, get a better valuation, all that type of jazz. It's kind of a murky space. So how exactly are you different?
So James, we're different because we use a totally new way of representing data called vectors. And so by using vectors, what we can actually do is make it possible for computers and machines to understand the semantics of that data. So when we take qualitative data like images and audio and video, we transform it into a vector using machine learning. And then we're able to run analysis and computations on it to enable incredible discovery and insights. So this is different to when most companies who are not prepared to work with ML try to do it, because they have to go through this really long process of collecting data, cleaning it, and then invest about maybe 6 months of training and testing the model without any kind of guarantee of success. And once they've done that, then they still got the problem figuring out how to actually productionize it. But with us, what customers can do is get something that's functional out of the box straight away. So within a week, we work with customers to build a proof of concept so they can see that what we say we can do, we actually do. And once they see the results, it's difficult not to become a customer.
That's awesome. So what are some of the use cases then these customers are using you for today?
I'll take this one, but there are quite a few. So 2 notable and very exciting ones. So one is in the digital art space, such as crypto NFTs. We all know how diverse NFTs can be, from NFT images to NFT videos. We help one of the largest NFT marketplaces to actually better categorize all these qualitative NFTs and improve discovery of the many different formats of them, which would normally take a very, very large data science team before Relevance AI. So they were able to utilize us to enable all that. Another really, really interesting one, and is one of the early use cases for us, is in gaming, where we worked with some of the largest gaming analytics companies to essentially build an AI coach that has helped millions of players to improve already. This AI coach was actually built through Relevance AI by analyzing every unstructured and qualitative data, such as game screen, the actions they took, and this coach has actually improved retention rate of the many different applications for the gaming analytics companies by over 200%. Since the players were able to improve so much and enjoy more parts of the game using Relevance AI. I was actually able to become a top 5 in one of the games in Australia, thanks to it. But yeah, along with those, we are working with many other enterprises from a wide array of industries, such as legal, construction, education, etc., to better deal with the many different kinds of qualitative data they own, such as PDFs, text, images, etc. And that's all thanks to Relevance AI.
Fantastic. That's really interesting. So I've got a question from the audience, which is this the same way data is structured in vectors in graphics? I think they're getting the terminology mixed up, but how would you describe that to sort of a general non-machine learning audience, what vectors do and why they're so powerful?
I can take this one. But essentially, why is it so powerful using us is actually, thanks to vectors. The way we do this is essentially be able to represent all kinds of different data in the same space. So if you think about any kind of information in many, many dimensions, vectors essentially represent that. So an image of an apple, it would be somewhere around here. A text of an apple would also be somewhere around here. But like say a football or something would be all the way down here. So we know whether the image and the text is really similar. And thanks to that, we can essentially explore many, many use cases, because using vectors and the similarity search of vectors, we can essentially power all kinds of applications, such as information retrieval, analysis of different qualitative data, and so on and so forth.
Okay. And just to clarify, no, it's not related to SVGs.
It is dot graphics. Okay, another question from the audience. In broad terms, actually, no, so I'm going to go through this one first. Is all the data kept onshore, or is it cloud-based? How is this, in particular, I think this person is asking from a government perspective. Maybe just run us through a little bit of that.
Yeah, so security for us is absolutely paramount, of course. And what we actually do for each single enterprise customer, they've got their own dedicated cluster that exists on a region that they select. So we have customers in the US who have servers running in the US, customers in Australia with servers running in Australia, customers in Europe, Israel, and so forth. And so what we do for each customer is ensure that they have their own completely firewalled specific cluster and installation of Relevance AI. So all of the data is audited and kept under very strict kind of lock and key just for them.
Cool, that's a good answer. And I'm going to do one more question from the audience, which is what's the cost in this scaling? So how much effort do you need to provide with potential customers before converting them? I think there's 2 questions in that. Does this scale, and does this scale well, and is it easy to close customers?
Does it scale well? So yeah, we built the system pretty much from scratch, being really focused on vectors, and we've done a lot of load testing to essentially be able to scale for not only millions of requests, but also to scale. Well, actually, we're already handling over 100 million requests, so we were able to handle that kind of scale. But yeah, we've load tested it and done many testing to make sure that it can handle the scale. But also, yeah, it can handle the scale to many different use cases, whether it's the different use cases that I mentioned before, from information retrieval to analysis. It all can be done thanks to vectors.
And not to embarrass Jackie, but he's actually built one of the fastest clustering algorithms in the world, which is what sets us ahead in terms of our own IP.
That's pretty cool.
And the second question.
Yeah, how do you, once you show customers the demo, is it easy to close them?
Yeah. So yeah, pretty much, we really sell through action. So instead of like talking a lot about our technology, we pretty much just show a lot of our customers, whether it's through a POC or just our demo, on how exactly AI can utilize their data. So sometimes they either send us the sample data or we use sample data from our own. And once they see it, they pretty much get on board really quickly.
Awesome. And this one's for you, Dan, which is you're hiring a few roles. Do you want to just quickly talk through that?
Yeah, we're actually hiring a lot of roles. So if anyone in the audience right now is looking for some great opportunities, go to careers.relevance.ai. So we are looking for some of the kind of best talent that we can find from front engineering. So the qualitative cloud, our dashboard that we're building for non-technical people. We want to build some of the best experience of working with data. And so we're looking for super talented front-end engineers. Jackie and the data team, they're looking to build out an incredibly talented data science team, both customer facing and internal facing. And we're also looking for some leaders in the team from sales to operations and a few other roles like that to help us get to that next stage, especially now as we start pushing for greater expansion overseas.
Fantastic. Thank you, Dan. And the last question for both of you, which is how can the audience help tonight?
Visit careers.relevance.ai, number one. We're really looking for getting as many applicants as possible because we just want to speak to really talented people. Secondly, if you're working in an enterprise and you've got lots of qualitative data that you just currently are doing nothing with, hit us up on relevance.ai/demo or reach out to one of us on Twitter or LinkedIn. And we'd love to have a conversation and show you the kind of things that you can be doing to be able to hit your KPIs, because we're really focused on delivering value that's going to double your KPIs. So we'd love to have a chat and see what kind of better products and features you can build using vectors.
Fantastic. Thank you, Jackie and Dan.
Thanks, James. Thanks, Galileo. Thanks, everyone.
Cool. Okay. Now, before I throw it back to Melbourne, this is going to be essentially my last bit signing off from Sydney live stream. I really hope everyone's enjoyed the pitches tonight and our hybrid live stream event on Lemonade. On a personal note, it's been a huge journey to get Galileo up until this point. We've had a fantastic time working with the startups you've just met, and really we're only just getting started. In fact, we're going to be supporting companies like this for the rest of the year as we keep fundraising and we keep growing. We're actually actively trying to make another 6 to 10 investments over the rest of the year. We're already talking to a few. We've just signed on 2 more new companies into Galileo in the last few weeks. So if you're a founder and you're looking for funding, which I'm pretty sure most founders are, you should apply today at apply.galileo.ventures. One of the cool things about us as well is we send personalized feedback. We're really proud of this because of the nature of VC, where you say no to most people. We think it's really important at the early stages to actually give feedback as to why we're saying no. So we do give personalized feedback to everyone that applies online. We don't require warm introductions. Couldn't care less about warm intros. Just hit us up. The email is team@galileo.ventures if you don't want to apply online. And we also like being the first investor in. So if you don't have any investors lined up, we also want to hear from you because we like being part of the journey. Look, it's been a really great experience up to this point. I'm really happy that everyone here could be part of this historic first founder stream. So thank you for joining. If you're in Melbourne, please do talk to Hugh. And if you're not in Melbourne and on the live stream, stick around. I'm going to stay in the lounge room in the Lemonade app. So you'll see on the left-hand side, for those watching virtually, there is a lounge room. We'll kick off some lounge rooms after the pitches tonight. So if you want to say hi, feel free to join in on that. And with that, I'm going to sign off and give it back to Hugh, who's done a great effort getting this all organised in Melbourne. So over to you, Hugh. That's it from me in lockdown Sydney. Thanks very much.
Thanks, James. And I'm just going to do the thank yous. So first up, I'd like to really thank the founders that have presented. I think the founders and these early founding teams, it's not just the founders, it's also their team members. Really, really hard. It's always hard to get up on stage. It's always hard to pitch things. And they're all doing really great work. They're our first investments. They themselves actually had to handle us as sort of our own startup in a sense as a fund, going through and building all the processes that actually go on behind the scenes to really actually get the work done. So thank you as well to them for that patience they've shown. Secondly, I'd like to thank everyone in the community. So the people that have joined us in the live stream, people that are in Melbourne in person. Thank you for your support and thank you for obviously coming along. And thanks to our two sponsors again, Twilio and AWS Startups. Thank you for being able to help us make these events a reality. Next up, I'd like to thank our coaches and mentors. So it's not just James and I, but it is a big network of coaches and mentors who really come in and help our startups, no matter what really the subject is on. And they're very, very generous with their time. And we're very lucky to have a group of coaches and mentors who are themselves either running a startup, they're working in a startup, they have something else to be doing, and we're very, very thankful for the time that they give us and give to our companies to be able to really help them grow. And the last thank you is actually probably one that you don't hear VCs talk about very often, and that's actually a thank you to our investors. And I think a lot of VCs don't really talk about, I guess, the business of VC as much as maybe I think we should, and founders should understand it a bit more. And it is actually a really important role when we talk about new funds and sort of what it means to be an emerging fund manager and a new fund manager, and it's a bit like a new startup. You've got to find the people that are willing to take those, that initial risk and that early bet on you as a fund manager and essentially as a founder to be able to really get off the ground and demonstrate the traction that you've seen tonight. So thank you to our investors, and as we say to founders, always be closing. We're still raising the rest of the last bit of the Galileo Fund number 1. So if you're a sophisticated investor and you're keen to support startups like the ones that you've seen this evening, please absolutely slide into our DMs. Reach out. We'd love to have a chat. And that's it from me. So thank you to everyone who's attended. If you're on the live stream, please stick around, head into the lounge, and you can meet some of the startups and other members of the community. And if you're in Melbourne, I'll come down and see you soon.